Hello, my name is... Sorry about that. Hello, my name is Josh. This is a quick video tutorial on how to make the perfect homemade burger, including the bun. Now, the bun is Joshua Weissman's recipe, but the rest of it is mine, so please enjoy it. First and most important is the bun. The recipe is fairly simple. All you need is 2 eggs, unsalted butter, yeast, active instant works, sugar, salt, and Tipo Zero flour or bread flour. All-purpose flour can work too. Tipo Zero is just sifted and ground smaller, which makes for a softer bread. The first step is to make a tangzong. This is just a combination of water, milk, and flour. Combine 2 tablespoons of water, 4 tablespoons of milk, and 2 tablespoons of flour in a cold pan placed over medium heat. Using a rubber spatula, keep mixing the mixture around whilst heating until it forms into a thick paste-like thing. This will help the dough keep hydrated and bind it together a bit better. Before putting anything into the stand mixer, combine half a cup of milk with 1 tablespoon of yeast and wait for about 8 minutes. If your yeast is active, this is a necessity. If not, it's still a good practice to do. Now, it is completely possible to do this without a stand mixer, but because I have one, I'm definitely going to use it. Now we dump 2.5 cups of flour into the bowl, followed by 1 teaspoon of salt and 2.5 tablespoons of sugar. This might sound like a lot of sugar, but in reality, the yeast needs sugar to feed on and grow, which is what makes the dough rise. Stir to combine. Add in the milky yeast mixture, followed by the tangzong, then 1 egg and 1 egg yolk, preferably at room temperature. After a little bit, slowly introduce 42 grams of softened and unsalted butter. Once the dough has come together beautifully, take it out and knead for another minute or so until the dough bounces back. Now grab a corner of the dough and bring it into the center. Do this a few more times around the dough. Now place it on the bench with the seam side down and rub it around while keeping constant contact with the bench. This will tighten up the seam and keep everything together. I use the same stand mixer bowl for the rise, so first wash it out and dry it, then oil the surface either by hand or using a spray. Gently place the dough ball into the oiled bowl and place over it a damp tea towel and leave it to rest in a warm area for roughly 1.5 to 2 hours, or until it has doubled in size. After the dough has risen, we tell it a sweet lullaby and punch it down. Take it out of the bowl and portion the dough into even pieces of roughly 100 grams each. Just like before, we bring the corners of the dough together and rub it around in a circle on our bench. The way I do it is by using only one hand and keeping my fingertips on the bench in a claw shape. This gives room for the dough to move slightly, just enough to make the seam fold in on itself. Place each ball into a baking tray with baking paper and make sure to space each ball a good distance from each other so they can rise properly. Once all balls are placed, cover the trays with a damp tea towel and wait until they double in size again. Once they've risen, place the trays in a preheated oven set to 190 degrees Celsius for about 16 to 18 minutes. And that's the perfect bun. Now onto the burger itself. The most important part of the burger, besides the bun, is the meat and the seasoning. The ingredients for the burger are beef patties, a white onion, lettuce, this could be iceberg or cos, a trussed tomato, flaky sea salt, and a portobello, also known as a portobello mushroom. For the patties, the meat I used is 4-star beef mince, which means it's 90% meat and 10% fat. This is a perfect in between of being healthy and flavour. In a bowl, we combine 500 grams of the minced meat with 2 pinches of flour, a few pinches of salt, a healthy sprinkle of garlic powder, and a few crunches of freshly cracked black pepper. Thoroughly combine with your hands and shape the meat into patties using your preferred method. Essentially make them into a ball and push them down until they're flat. Put patties on a plate separated with baking paper and put aside in the fridge until they're ready to be cooked. Now onto the vegan ingredients. First up is our onion. I cut a small bit off the side as we will be using the onion rings and not julienning our onion. Peel and place on the edge that we just cut so it doesn't move around. Now cut against the grain from top down with about 0.5 to 1 centimeter spacing. Once cut, push the rings out of each other and set aside. Next is our lettuce. I'm using cos hearts because of personal preference. Before anything else, wash the lettuce using cold water to clean off any dirt or bugs that might still be on there. Cut off whatever you don't want to use, and that's pretty much it for lettuce. Now is our tomato. Same as with the onion, cut a small bit off the side so it doesn't roll when slicing. We will again be cutting top down with the same spacing. Afterwards, place the tomatoes on top of the lettuce and season with some flaky boys. If you don't have flaky salt, regular table salt can be used as a substitute. Last is our portobello mushroom. I rough chopped mine as we'll be mixing it in with the onions once cooked. Now to the cooking. I highly recommend using a cast iron pan. Any pan will work, but here we're making the perfect burger, so like, I don't know, just trust me, okay? Please? Thank you. Before any cooking, and with whatever pan you do choose, preheat your pan to a medium heat. First we cook up our onions. But this isn't just any regular cooking. No. Here we're going to caramelize our onions. Alright, caramelize. Place your onions into the pan, making sure that most, if not all, of the onion is touching the pan. Keep stirring the onions around until they turn this color. I'll let Hungry Josh take over for a bit.
Grab the sale, as the Italians call it. A sale. Go like that.
Whatever, anyway, the secret to caramelized onions is in the first word, caramelized. The base to a caramel sauce is brown sugar and butter. Here we're going to substitute brown sugar for normal granulated sugar. After a minute, we add butter to the pan and stir around, allowing the onion to absorb its flavour. The main reason we use medium heat is because at a lower heat, this allows the water in the onion to absorb the sugar and butter. If the heat is too high, the onion will burn before this and you'll be left with crunchy burnt onions with a caramel glaze. Wow, now that's some beautiful onions. Transfer the onions from a pan to a heat-proof bowl. Now we cook the portobello mushroom, which only takes a few minutes. Once done, add the mushroom into the same bowl as the onion. Next step is to toast your buns. This is a super necessary step, otherwise your bun will become a soppy mess once you add the sauce. Here we have our patties cooking nicely. While they are cooking, using a spoon to help spreading, add your sauce to your buns. This sauce is made of a combination of mayo, sweet chili, and ketchup. Once your patties are cooked on one side, flip them over and cook the other side. This is optional, but after flipping, add cheese to the cooked side to make it melt onto the patty. Yes, that is a cheese single because I hate the environment and somehow I like the way they taste. Now the final step we've all been waiting for, assemble the burgers. Place the lettuce and the tomato on the bottom, then the beef patties, followed by our onion and mushroom mix, and then the top bun. And boom, that's it, you're done. Okay, I've got a few seconds left, so thank you for watching, and thank you to my university for giving me boring assignments so I can actually procrastinate and do this instead. Thank you, bye.